Yo, mic test, mic test, mic test, mic test. Let me turn on the music. Hopefully it's still playing. Let me see. Oh, it's switched my account. That's very weird. Okay, hang on. There we go. Okay. Chat was good, man. Music is at a pause. Today is June 21st. Happy Juneteenth for those of you who took the time to acknowledge the reason why we're off of work in most overall circles. This is not an overly political channel, but shout out to Juneteenth. But we're here. We're back. This is my first stream, I think, since the finals. I don't think I had another follow-up stream after the finals. So yeah, it's been kind of hectic. But we got a lot to address and get to. Obviously, the NBA never sleeps, and draft day is very, very soon, which we do have 2 streams, by the way, too. That's right. Hardworking man, we're back in the building. I have 2 streams lined up for draft day. One with Mars, we're talking low, and hopefully John D, if he can still make it. And then right after that, we will be live streaming the NBA draft. So definitely make sure to tap in with that. But I wanted to go live today because there's a couple things I wanted to get off my chest. How do I say this? The NBA finals are over. Like, that process is done. And we're now in the offseason, which for years and years and years and years and years, we know the offseason is basically another season upon itself where there's so many players changing teams. There's players who are actually retiring out of our league. There's new players who are coming in because of the draft. There's just a lot going on. But the constant in these last few off seasons has been Giannis Antetokounmpo. If you've been living under a rock, Giannis has been not happy with this Bucks team for a couple years now. This is not like a 1-year thing where, it's tough. No, like, it hasn't been great pretty much ever since they won the title, if we're being honest. They lose in embarrassing fashion to, I think 8 seed Miami team, who was the only playing team to actually, like, do something in the playoffs. And then after that, they trade their players. Chris Middleton just gets some crazy injury luck. It was really, really bad for him. They trade him. They trade Drew Holiday as well, so he's gone. They get Dame. And I think the Damian Lillard era, like, needs to be thought about more because the whole idea of it made a lot of sense. I don't want to act like, in theory, it didn't make sense because, again, Dame, before he got traded to the Bucks, was having his best year of his career. 2021 Dame. No, sorry. I think that was 22 Dame. I forget what year it is. You know what? Real quick, we're going to look this up because I don't want to get my facts wrong. Hang on, chat. Let me look up Basketball Reference real quick for Dame. But I'm pretty sure that was 22 Dame. Let me fact check this though. Hang on. Oh, my fault. 2023 Dame. Okay, yeah. So like, I'm gonna just quickly show you this for context, right? 23 Dame only played 58 games. Not really due to injury. They kind of just shut him down because what was the point? And they were actively taking 32 points a game. His highest point total of his career. He took 11 threes this year and made 4.2 of them. You know what I'm saying? So Dame was absolutely like the man. So trading for him made a ton of sense. However, and this is what I kept saying, and I really, really wish I say this because I was in a space with Low, KB, a whole bunch of other kinds of creators on Twitter. And like, I was getting laughed at a bunch, but I'm like, bro, this team sucks. Like, who? Oh yeah, I forgot. Shout out to Demi in chat because you're right. Yeah, Dame definitely had a 71-point game, and it was elite. So like, there's no like, we will not be completely revisionist to say the idea of Dame didn't make sense. It did. Like, you get a guy who can be clutch, take over games, shoot the 3-ball extremely well. You put him next to Giannis. Cool. But in that space with all of those creators all the years ago. And for some reason, my camera keeps doing this MR shit. So give me a second while I think, navigate that. I kept saying repeatedly, like, but who else is on the team? Jesus Christ, camera, hold on. Is that better? Okay, that's better now. Yeah. I kept saying, okay, who else is on the team though? Like, people seem to forget that Bucks roster. Let's pull it up. I'll pull it up right now. This is the 23-24 Bucks roster. Let's just Google the team. Yeah. So initially, Adrian Griffin was the coach, and then he got fired. So here we go right here. So this team had Giannis, Thanasis, Malik Beasley, Marjan Beauchamp, who I was actually campaigning to get actual minutes. It was a wild time. Pat Bev, Marquez Bolden, Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder, Danilo Gallinari, AJ Green, Andre Jackson Jr., Dame, Chris Livingston, Brooke Lopez, Robert. That's right. They had both Lopez's, Chris Middleton, Cameron Payne, Bobby Portis, Ryan Rollins before he was doing what he did now, Ty Washington, and Lindell Wigginton. Now, chat. Some of those names they added in season. Some of them. But coming into the offseason, when they made the trade, which let's revisit the trade one more time because I am a bit hazy on the details. Let me Dame trade Bucks package. Let me just Google this shit real quick to make sure we're all on the same timeline here. So in the Blockbuster 3-team trade, the Bucks acquired Dame from Portland by sending guard Drew Holiday and Grayson Allen to Portland. The deal also involved the Suns, who received Nurkic, Keon Johnson, Nas Little, and Grayson Allen, right? So those are all the players, right? So focusing on this, you had no POA. Drew was gone, and like you didn't really replace him with anything. This team still didn't really have like a great overall starting presence because, again, we knew Brooke Lopez was kind of becoming washed. Like, we saw that. And this takes me to the other part of the trade that I think people did way too much on. And I hope that like this changed the way that y'all view basketball, kind of, because at the time, people looked at it as Giannis and Dame. Dame Giannis pick and roll. Get the Dame Giannis pick and roll. And again, I'm not mad. I was mad at the time though, because anytime I asked him a relevant basketball question about is Adrian Griffin going to be a good coach? Are we sure about that? Dame Giannis pick and roll, not that hard. How are they going to play defense? Well, it's going to be shootouts because they got Dame Giannis pick and roll. I just trust that more to close out games. Are we sure Giannis is going to want to set screens for Dame consistently because Giannis hasn't really been an elite screener for most of his overall career? Dame Giannis pick and roll, gifted, they'll figure it out. It's going to be lethal. You can't guard it. And then I'm watching preseason, and like in preseason, you're seeing teams say, we're fine. Like, we will let some of your other weaker shooters shoot. And it got to a point in the regular season where the best action they ran wasn't Dame Giannis pick and roll. It was Dame Brooke Lopez pick and roll. Brooke Lopez was actually a better screener than Giannis. And that's not hate on Giannis. That's just what it was. And to be fair to them, they did have injuries. So there was a stretch of the season at the end where Dame and Giannis were like learning to better play with each other, right? Like, I don't want to, at all ignore that, but that was a thing. Also, great point. Yes, the Bucks were at the top of the conference and they got rid. Yeah, but to be fair, Adrian Griffin was not a good coach. I'm sorry. I watched those games. A lot of those games were won off of like heroics at the end. And Adrian Griffin was not a good coach. Even though they had the record they had, watching the games, it was not the same. But that is not gifted saying Doc Rivers was the go. Because Doc Rivers also wasn't a good coach. Because historically, Doc doesn't really play young players like that. And it's funny because you have Ryan Rollins on his roster. He didn't really see no minutes. And I understand, by the way. I don't want to, like, act as if like he should have gotten, I don't know, 15 minutes a game. No, but like in terms of like developing young talent on a already thin roster, that should have been the play this year to build around Dame and Giannis moving forward, and that didn't happen. In chat, J-Man said Dame and Giannis were never healthy together in the playoffs, minus 2 games. I think it's ironic the Bucks benefited from injuries in 2021, but haven't. Yeah, Bucks had significant injuries, which is definitely fair. I'm not going to say that's not fair. Like that definitely does change some things, but it doesn't change the fact of healthy in season, the Bucks never looked like a real dominant team. There was a stretch at the end of the season where Dame played his best basketball alongside Giannis, sure, but that team was still not a good defensive team. Dame was still food on defense. And there were times where Giannis just wasn't getting the ball enough. So, like, it was a weird mix between the two. And then after Chris Middleton came back off of the injuries, I'm not going to lie to you, people forget Chris Middleton actually had some good showings in the playoffs that year. He did. But it didn't really mean much because they still lost, right? So then after this, they trade Chris Middleton and things get worse. This team continues to not have any real athletic overall presence. And this becomes like a full-on Giannis overall carry job. And keep in mind, Dame tears his Achilles. So he's just not really present or at all available. I want to go to the 2024 year. So let me go here real fast and fast forward. So this was last year's Bucks right here. Giannis, Marja Beauchamp, Jean-Marie Boyea, Pat Connaughton, AJ Green, Andre, like Kyle Kuzma, he came over, right? Because remember, they literally traded Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. I remember that. And the idea was you get Kuzma on this team. So now you have salary going out, which means you can build this team up to do something in the offseason. Didn't make any significant moves in the offseason. So that was a lie, basically. You know what I'm saying? And this really was like a true Giannis carry job type of team for the most part. If I'm not mistaken, I think last year he was another top 3 MVP finish. Giannis averaged, what did he average? Yeah, in 67 games played, Giannis averaged 30.4 points per game. He was killing. He was lights out last year. I don't know how many games. I think Giannis might have missed. I think Dame missed some games last year, right? Sub, appreciate the sub, bro. Dame last year. No, actually, that's cap. I'm sorry. No, he played 58 minutes. Right. So last year he played a total of 58 games, and then he came back in the playoffs and then tore his shit. But like essentially, the point of everything I'm saying is the team wasn't good, and Giannis and Dame were both never fully healthy for like significant overall moments. But even when they were, they played better without each other. The on-offs looked better. Like they just looked like a better team when it was either Dame by himself or Giannis by himself. Together, it was never that great. And to be fair to them, the roster around them wasn't that great. But that's why when you see a trade being made to pair 2 star players together, we have to remember the NBA ecosystem we're in, right? We're living in an era of NBA basketball where having 3 stars doesn't win you shit anymore. Having 2 main guys doesn't win you shit anymore. You need a competent roster around them to win. And the Bucks have not had that since they won the title. That's just what it is. That's just factual. I'm not hating. That just is what it is. And that takes us to now. Because Giannis has been in trade talks for 2 years now. It's been a thing. The writing has been on the wall. This team has not been as relevant as they've been since they won the title and lost to the 8 seed Miami Heat. They just have not been. They have not really done much in the postseason at all. I don't think Giannis has been out of the first round since they went 7 games with the Celtics after Chris Middleton got hurt. I think since that point, they have not been out of the first round. And this takes me to my problem with Giannis. And again, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Giannis, even this season, had moments where he looked like he could be the best player in the world. He did. He was playing outstanding, lights out basketball. My problem with Giannis, and I want to preface it by saying I understand it's hard to make decisions in the NBA. Obviously, I'm not a millionaire. I don't know how it feels to move your entire family somewhere else. That's a lot of stuff you got to deal with. I want to give that a ton of respect that it deserves. But at the end of the day, bro, if you're asking out from a franchise and you want to go somewhere else, and that's what you genuinely want to do, brother, you have to hit full send. How many years are we going to do this like yin and yang dance where, oh, I want out, but that's not in my nature? Like it really comes off to me like Giannis wants to leave without being criticized for leaving and wants to like position it as like it's not his fault. Like he wants the best PR outcome from it. And the crazy part is, to me, who in their right mind, and if you disagree in chat, please let me know right now, who in their right mind would kill Giannis for leaving Milwaukee? You brought them a title. The team's construction has not been great since you won the title. And you won. Like the biggest difference between LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or like whoever you want to point to is Giannis won. So it's not like he left unfinished chips on the table to go ring chase. He didn't do that. He won a title. So like the pressure or like the notion that he owes them anything after that is crazy to me when he already brought that town a championship. So to me, you can leave. In chat, Zach said Giannis is a buck for life. He will never leave us. I'm gonna get to that very, very soon, Zach. Don't worry about that. In chat, too, say, hear me out. Maybe I just want to be a bull. And see, I've been hearing that go around, and people are dismissing it, but there's actually like good Greek culture in the Bulls. They also have players. Listen, I'm not gonna say it's out of bounds. I will say Giannis is unserious if he's trying to go to the Bulls, because the way that he's postured this is he wants to win. He wants to win so badly. He wants to be a part of a team that's trying to win. Going to the Bulls is not going to help you fast track that, especially in this Eastern Conference. Sorry. Like, you can't have it both ways. That's my problem with Giannis, though. So like, I want y'all to remember what we went through this trade deadline and last offseason. We spent so much time talking about where is Giannis going? Where is Giannis going? Where is Giannis going? That other deals that some of these teams who were in the Giannis chase missed out on. Miami is a prime example. They've been trying to get Giannis for a very long time. Honestly, Miami in general, and this is no diss to any of the Heat fans in the chat, I'm sorry, but it is facts. Y'all be posturing like a big move is going to happen for y'all, and then y'all don't do anything, and then another move that would have made the team better, you stall out on doing because you were holding out to get a superstar. Well, guess what, Miami? This is like, this to me, if they whiff out on getting Giannis at this point, they never are gonna pull out their gun and shoot. Like you have your gun for the fashion, because it's like to always be in talks but never like hit on any of these talks where you didn't get Dame, you didn't get Giannis, you didn't get Donovan Mitchell, you didn't get like, oh, I forgot about this, didn't even get Kevin Durant. Like, it was so many players you could have got, and I understand if the price becomes too high at a certain point, but you're posturing your entire trade deadline or offseason around these names. And then we hear in-season reports about these names, and then you do nothing with it. Miami, like, I have to see what happens with that. I don't know. His destiny is walking down the dirt path. That's funny. I think the Knicks might still try and trade for Giannis. Oh, let me think about that too. So, like, are we saying, if you're trading for Giannis, it has to be Cat? The question then becomes, why would Milwaukee take on Cat? I guess because they just want another player. Actually, how old? Let me Google this real quick. How old is Cat? I think Cat is like 28. How old is Cat? Cat No, Cat is 30. So he's still young. He's still young. I think Cat has a lot of years left. So like, it's a thing. But like, my problem with this shit is like, Cat seems fully brought into his role on the Knicks as a hub five. His defense got a lot better this year. They just won the title. Granted, he was in foul trouble a lot in the finals, but again, the first two games of the finals, Cat really dictated the games. He just did. I understand Brunson deserved the finals MVP. I know that Cat, after those first two games, didn't really play a significant amount of time in the series, but Cat was the X factor in both of those first two games on the road. That matters to me. Also, why, if you're the Knicks, are you trading so much capital for a team that just won? Like, you have most of your roster locked up for next year. Just go back to back. And I know that sounds easy. Like, obviously, improve the roster where you can, but making a significant shift for Giannis next to Jalen Brunson, when we know how the ball dominant point guard thing doesn't really work with Giannis, is a very interesting thing. Granted, you're probably in the best spot to risk it, but again, if you're the Bucks, I just don't know why you would want Cat. If you're the Bucks, you want cap flexibility. You want a young blue chip player that could become a star in the future, and you want picks. Those are the three pillars of things you want, right? The closest package you're getting to that is between Jaylen Brown, I think, for the Celtics, but the Heat, to me, have the assets. They have the draft. Like, it makes more sense. Giannis, I personally think if he is going to get traded, the Heat make a lot more sense. But I'm saying all this to go back to the point of, I'm tired of being jerked around by this nigga chat. I'm sorry. I'm not a hater. I'm a very respectful basketball person. I love the game. I'm sick and tired of opening up my Twitter and seeing Sham say, well, Giannis, yeah, the Bucks are thinking about trading him. Yeah. And then the season passes, nothing happens. Off season passes, nothing happens. And then breaking news, Giannis signs 3-year Supermax extension. Like, chat, are we surprised? Deadass, look me in my fucking eyes and tell me this, chat. Are you surprised if Giannis signs a off-season extension with the Bucks? No. Who is surprised? Be so honest, right? Because we get this shit and like, it's annoying because it sucks the life out of all the other shit that could be happening. And it's like, Giannis, this is not chess. Nigga, the team is not good. Your franchise waived Damian Lillard. They're paying him $22 million. The nigga is not on the roster, chat. Let me say that again. Damian Lillard is making $22 million for this upcoming season. He is in Portland. So you have dead cap on your roster. They did that to keep you because they figured, oh, Miles Turner, Giannis, let's go. And Miles Turner sucks. So it's like, I feel like when you're looking at the situation and we're being honest about it, Giannis, no one is killing you for leaving. Because you won. You're not LeBron. You're not Kevin Durant. You weren't in a spot where you could have won, you didn't win, and you left. It's not what happened. So like, him being so not committal is hilarious. And again, like, I really feel like there's so much other shit that could be happening in his offices between. Does LA pay Austin Reeves? Is LeBron walking? What star are the Warriors going to get? How do the Knicks get better? The Spurs, they have more cap space. What are they going to do? The Rockets, are they going to trade Kevin Durant? What's the point? Like, there's so many other things going on with all these teams. And we go back to Giannis, and it's the same shit. I don't love the team. I'm a hooper. I'm an MVP player. I can do this and that, but I want to be on a team that can win, but this team can't win, and I know that, but I want to leave, but I don't want to leave because it's not in my culture DNA, but I probably should leave. Like, nigga, make a decision, bro. Like, goddamn. Now, I'll say this. There's a strong chance that he does get moved finally, primarily because the draft this year is a very potent draft. And ideally, if you're trading him, you want to do it before the draft so that way you have the power to make a draft pick selection using Miami's pick or using some of the other rumored picks in the deals. But if he doesn't get flipped before the draft, I would damn near argue he might not get traded this offseason. But again, let's go back to this, right? If you're Milwaukee, it is franchise assess. Oh, that was bad. It's franchise malpractice. There we go, Gifted. Much better. It is franchise malpractice to not trade Giannis, let him play his final year of his deal out, and then let him potentially have the freedom to walk in free agency. If Giannis is not signing the contract extension you put on the table in front of him this offseason by a certain time, you have to trade Giannis. Because if he walks into free agency with all the cachet, all the pull, all of the control, you are not going to get many assets back from it. So, like, at a certain point, both sides have to mature and actually make some shit happen. And I want to say this real quick, chat. Y'all not going to expect this. Shout out to the Heat. Shout out to the Heat. And I say this because the Heat are already working on another deal with Detroit to try to move Tyler Hero. Because what often happens with teams in the Giannis deals is they get so laser focused on getting Giannis, they don't make other moves they need to make their roster better. It seems like the Heat are trying to get a 3-team deal done. We'll see what happens, of course, but Miami's in position to still improve their roster, even if they don't trade for Giannis. And that's all that matters. I'm not saying the Heat have to make some, like, home run trade or whatever the fuck, but just make the roster better, show some overall progression, and move some contracts. If you're a Heat fan, that's what you should want from your team this offseason, to me at least. JD in chat said free agency starts in 9 days and he's holding it up. Yes, bro. It's a lot going on, man. Boston and the Heat are trying to make, both teams are attempting to make team deals. The funny part is, I don't know if y'all saw this, but like the Boston Celtics are actually tired of this whole saga, bro. They feel like it's very hard to make a trade for Giannis because it is. It's bullshit. And there's one thing I know about Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is not a fan of waiting for bullshit. He's going to make you an offer. If you turn it down, he will probably counter, but he's not going to sit here waiting on red for 9 days. Brad's going to move. So, like, if you're the Bucks, be careful about, like, not playing your cards early, because if you don't make the trade now, you're going to be fucked this offseason. That's my thing about that. Toon said, if I'm Cade, I'll be pissed if Tyler... Toon, honestly, bro, I disagree. And, like, I think the reason I disagree is his number 2 offensively was fucking Tobias Harris. Like, I need y'all to understand Detroit. And by the way, I'm in Detroit. I went to see these games. Tobias Harris being your number 2 anything in the playoffs is wild. That's a wild concept. Like, I really been saying this for like a ton. I think Tyler Hero gets a lot of shit, and I understand. Like, I get it. But it's like legitimately, when you have Cade as a advantage creator, having a guard who is a movement shooter, who can run pick and rolls, who can shoot the ball off of the bounce, I think that matters. Also, he's a good rebounder. Like, Cade can set screens for Tyler, and now they have a really flowing offense. I just like it. I think it fits pretty good to me. I don't know. In chat, MJ said they keep trying to drag this for no reason. Then they mess around and see no teams go after him. Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, chat, the funny part about the NBA is because of the changes overall to the draft, I think what fans have to realize is the way we look at basketball has to change again. Like, these packages of, like, the first round picks and this and that, nothing is the same anymore. First round picks are more valuable now. You want to know why? Because they flatten the fucking odds. So now, if you're just a bumbling 8 seed who's not good enough to be bad, but not bad enough to be good, you understand what I'm saying when I say that, your pick can still be a number 1 pick now. So it's like you can't just be willy-nilly with trades. That's why, to me, if you're the Bucks, You got to make some shit shake now. You have to. But going back though, I think Tyler makes a lot of sense. I think people say this about Tyler because of his defense. Well, guess what? He's going to one of the best overall defensive teams in the league who literally need another ball handler who can shoot. That is Tyler Hero. I don't hate that for them. I really don't. Toon said, maybe I'm just too low. No. I get being low on Tyler, but I would be low on him as well if you're looking at the situation Tyler Hero is in, where he has to be like the lead ball handler guy on the Miami Heat, who really have like no other like super competent guard who can do that at a high level. Like it's what Davion Mitchell and Norman Powell. And let's be honest, Norman Powell is a overrated super bucket getter for the first half of the season, and then he's normally injured for the second half. He also can't play defense worth a damn. Like, that's not really moving nobody. If you put Tyler next to a true number one who can actually advantage create, and then you have Tyler Hero in the staggers without K, like I just think it makes a lot of sense if you're Detroit. I don't know. In chat, Max said if Giannis isn't traded by the end of tomorrow, he's signing the extension. Max, I'm gonna hold you to it. I like it, Max. I like that take. Because I wouldn't be surprised if a part of why Giannis is really doing all this bullshit is to get teams talking about his value to sign the bigger deal. Which I can, listen, Giannis won already. Like, I think something that we have to realize is that there's a reality where Giannis doesn't really give a fuck. But he can't say that. And he just wants to get paid. Like, I think it's perfectly fine if you're Giannis to say, you know what, I won a title. I really don't want to leave Milwaukee. The problem is the way he leads you on is very annoying. But I get it, because if you're trying to make millions of dollars, like, you have to create the illusion that you're not happy to justify them paying you and really panicking. So, like, I understand it. But it's very aggravating as a fan to like hear this have so much airspace and then nothing happens with it. It is frustrating, yes. Nico was good, bro. He said, "What's up, Gifted? When are you going to start the draft preview? The draft is Tuesday. I have a sleeper list on the draft." Good question. I'm doing a draft stream Tuesday. Tomorrow's Monday. Honestly, we might do a draft preview tomorrow, Loki, because I need to do some more research on some of the players in this draft. So I might do that tomorrow. We'll see. In chat, Max said, I agree. He's already, yeah. Like, I don't think he really needs to do that publicly. But again, my only point is if you're Giannis and you're really trying to win, leave Milwaukee. Like, it really is that simple. I know that we try to do like this whole thing about, but he's loyal. He's Greek. Man, all that shit is cool. At the end of the day, you are a $1 million player. You're a MVP caliber player in your prime right now. And we've seen this happen with many other athletes where they're in their prime. They don't have the best roster around them and they fizzle out. Do you want to be one of those players, or do you want to go to a team and try to contend elsewhere? Make a decision, because this shit has been carrying on for 2 years. And seeing the tweet from NBA Central about him saying Giannis just wants to leave the Bucks, but he doesn't want to leave Milwaukee. This is the most baby shit I've seen. Like, nigga, just go. It's okay. I promise you it's okay. Nico said, let me know in the Discord. Yeah, I will be way more available in court for tomorrow, because there is a couple of players that I want to look into. I don't know if I can show college film on here, so we might just have to do it on Twitch if I do wind up streaming tomorrow. Worst case, I'll do some offline research, and then during the draft, we'll have active conversations about it. But we are going to be live on Tuesday. I'm going to create both the, how do I say this? I'm gonna make the broadcast for the content NBA stream with like everyone else, and then also the draft today. So stay tuned. Hit that notification bell to be notified when we go live and whatnot. Max, no. I do not doubt that Giannis loves the city. Like, what we have to remember is like the way Giannis came into the NBA, how much trust he put in the Bucks and the way that they built. Like, yes, like all that is fine, all that is valid. I know this isn't an easy decision. My only problem is the posturing around this as if it's deeper than what it is just kind of ludicrous to me, bro. Like, you're literally in a Damian, I would say, overall situation where he left. The difference is Dame never won. You won. So it's like, just be content or leave. I really think it's not that hard. But you know, hey, we'll see. I do think we might be getting played again. But I had to get that off because I've been very aggravated with the whole process around Giannis for these past, I think, 2-3 years. I think they need to make the most out of what he can be. I would love to see that, me personally, because I still think Giannis, like, especially after how the finals have played out, especially how we saw Shea, like, Giannis is still very much in that best in the world conversation. The problem is he's just not on a good enough team to like contend and show it in the playoffs. And he's injury prone now, which is the other part of this, by the way. Giannis is injury prone, right? So, like, if I'm Giannis, it's like, well, damn, how many years do I really have at my best if I'm already injury prone? I wouldn't want to waste that on a team that can't really win. In chat, Randy said, why would Giannis want to stay? Yeah, so like, the main reasoning I can think of is the emotional ties to the city and him having a family. Like, chat, I swear to God, I get all of this shit. I really, really do. But it comes down to, do you want to win more than you want to be with? And that's hard. But it's like, gang, you got to make a decision. That's all I'm saying, chat. Yeah, like I definitely understand the deep overall personal connection. But my problem is this: if you're asking out to be traded, don't posture like you don't want to be traded. Like, you do want to be gone, you know? And two, that's another part. His family was fucking overseas. They weren't in Milwaukee. So yeah, man, I don't know. I'm gonna leave the Giannis shit alone until we see something move with that. But if there's a trade to happen with Giannis, it should be happening this week, before or after the draft. If it doesn't happen in the first 9 days of free agency, Giannis probably is not getting traded. I'm gonna just be realistic with y'all. I don't see it happening. But I want to pivot these NBA yaps to another conversation that matters a ton to me, man. As I said before, right? The NBA evolves at such a rapid pace. And I feel like fans get caught in the sauce because things are happening so quickly. Like, we don't really process how quickly things are changing, right? I want to keep in mind, 4 or 5 years ago, Kemba Walker was in the league and wasn't playing bad. He's out the league now. There's a very real chance we might have saw the last season of Russell Westbrook this season. LeBron James could retire this offseason or next offseason. Steph Curry's older. Like shit is changing so rapidly. And I bring this up to say, the way I look at basketball as a fan first, and then as a overall basketball mind, as a, I would say, content creator, I'm starting to realize, and y'all can kill me for this because I know a lot of people are going to probably disagree, I might be at a point where you don't need a superstar to win a title anymore. Now, this is not me saying you shouldn't want a superstar, but we're reaching a point where parity is so loud, it really just comes down to who's the best overall roster. And I say this because we can do all the Brunson glaze we want to do. Like, oh, I told you gifted Brunson better than Shea and this and that. I'm like, man, let's just be honest about this. Like, my problem with the NBA Finals, and this is a perfect segue at 49 minutes in, we're here. My problem with the NBA Finals is that when people win, we try to do a revisionist profile on the player and the team so them winning can make more sense in our brains. Like, can we be honest about this New York Knicks team? And I know, I swear to God, I know. There's going to be someone in chat like, oh, Gifted, well, I told you in the regular season, the Knicks, man, I swear to God, this shit sounds cool. No one in this chat was saying Jalen Brunson was a better player than Shea throughout the 82 games of the regular season. It's a fucking lie. Nobody was saying that. If anything, we doubted the Knicks, or you know what? I'm sorry. I'll speak for myself. The reason why I doubted the Knicks, and I have no problem saying it because I still believe this. This Knicks team underperformed for different parts of the regular season. Karl-Anthony Towns was having a down year, partially because he didn't know what his role was. Cat actually said that himself. Mike Brown was not utilizing Cat consistently as a hub in the regular season. That just wasn't happening. Even Jalen Brunson wasn't having some like crazy outstanding year. Like, yes, all NBA caliber. Yes, I hear all that. This team was losing to good teams again for 2 years in a row, back to back in the regular season. So like any real like thing to look at in terms of regular season play from the Knicks, they didn't show you a strong indication of things overall shifting. In chat, Anthony said, Gifted Hoops, what are your thoughts on my last comment real quick? Oh, my fault. Let me quickly scroll up. What'd you say? You said, and what people don't realize is I don't think the Bucks want to trade Giannis within the conference. They're not going to trade him to Miami. I think they would go. So okay. Here's what I think about this too. And I'll do that real quick before I get back to my point, right? I don't know where the Bucks are with any of that stuff anymore, because if we're being honest, the draft odds being flat means you get more value back from any trade that you do. Also, what I don't understand is like, what's the logic, right? Like, okay, he's in your conference, you might lose less games. Guess what? You're gonna fucking stink for 2 years. Like, chat, once you trade Giannis, you're gonna be a bad team for the most part. And if you're good, it's like maybe 8 seed good, 7 seed good, cool, but you're not gonna be a contending team. So why would you care if Giannis is in your conference when we know he has like, what, maybe 4 or 5 years left at like peak levels? You're rebuilding the entire team. Like, I don't really understand though. Like, I get it if you're trading him for a similar MVP level player. You're not. You're trading Giannis for picks, draft capital, and flexibility. That's what it is. So it's like him being in your conference shouldn't be the make or break, at least in my opinion. Also, we know Giannis doesn't want to go out west, which is the other thing. I think the Bucks are actually trying to honor what Giannis wants, kind of. And Giannis doesn't want to go out west because he probably believes he can win more easier in the West. I say West, in the Eastern Conference than the Western Conference. So that's the other part of this too. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, though, I have addressed that. Going back to my point, though, this Knicks team for the entire regular season was up and down. It was a lot of things I wasn't really high on. They couldn't beat great teams. I think they had a sub 500 record against teams that were above 500 this season. And there were multiple games where it's like, damn, Josh Hart took 13 shots. I saw Brunson, he took 19 shots. I saw Mikal, he took 13 shots. And the Cat had like 4 or 5 shots. Like, I saw many games like that, and it didn't seem like a winning recipe. Cat was very much disgruntled in the regular season. And then come playoff time, they lose 2 games to the Atlanta Hawks. Granted, CJ McCollum masterclass, of course. But after that specific moment, they said, oh, Cat, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use you as a hub. Wow. Let's do what Gift has been saying for like a while. use Cat as a hub to take the pressure off of Jalen Brunson and unlock our role players. And they were a much better team. They were like easily one of the best playoff offense we've seen in a very long time. And they beat the Spurs. But I'm saying all of this to link the bridge to the larger point, which to me should be, you do not need a superstar to win anymore. And I'm seeing people try to do this thing in their head where they say Jalen Brunson is a superstar. And I'm going to be so honest with you. I don't really want to have that conversation right now because the definition of what a superstar is fluctuates in a lot of people's brains. To some people, if you win a championship, you're a superstar. Period. And technically speaking, by that definition, Jalen Brunson was the best player on a team that won a title. So in their minds, Jalen Brunson is a superstar. I'm going to be honest. Jalen Brunson was not a superstar before he won the title. He was not. He was a good player. He was not a superstar player. And let's be super honest as well about this. What I hate as well is like we all watch the NBA Finals, right? Right? Hang on. JD said Brunson has been a superstar. No, he is not. See, I don't understand these takes. When has Jalen Brunson been a superstar in this league? Please tell me. Because I promise you Jalen Brunson is not a Giannis level player. I promise you he's not. He's not better than Giannis, Jokic, Shea. I'm sorry. I don't have 10 to 15 superstars. I just don't. Me personally. I don't have that. But I'm saying this to say, when the Knicks traded for Jalen Brunson, they did not trade for Jalen Brunson because they thought Jalen Brunson was a super. Wait, I'm sorry. I said trade, my fault. Acquired. There we go. Acquired. When the Knicks acquired him, they did not acquire him saying he's a superstar. They acquired him because they thought Jalen Brunson is a really good player. And we are a poverty fucking team. We need a really good player. We believe in him. We saw what he did on that Dallas Mavericks team alongside Luka. We think he could be our point guard of the future. Signed him. Then they made other moves. Traded for OG Anunoby. Great trade. A lot of people at the time were really split on it because at the time OG wasn't playing. He was going through some overall injury issues. But OG Anunoby was a known defensive player in the league. He obviously developed, got a lot better, and became a knockdown three-point shooter. Made sense, right? Like, oh, that was fine. KD is no longer a superstar. Neither is Bron or Steph. Ooh, I'm not even gonna. I ain't gonna tackle that yet. I'm just focused on the point. Independent of all that though, this Knicks team to me, like, they should be a shining example that what matters more than anything, whether a player is a overall superstar or not, is how good the roster is. Like, they made moves to build around Jalen Brunson, sure, but they made moves to be a very good team. They traded Julius Randle because they thought Cat was a better player than Julius Randle. That's what it is. And I believe that because, remember, Cat, he was making so much money. And the Knicks saw a perfect way to trade a player that was kind of redundant next overall to Jalen Brunson, didn't really play that well in the playoffs, for a player that is flawed, yes, but we just saw had great matchups against Jokic, played better defense than a lot of people thought he could, and stepped up when his team needed him to do that. Now, granted, they lost in a conference finals. Cat looked very, very, very corrupt offensively. I can't lie to you. It didn't look good. But they saw an avenue to improve in their team. So they did it. Shit, even in this season, they traded for Jose Alvarado, and Jose Alvarado single-handedly swung the fourth quarter of Game 4, which is a game they narrowly win, which I'll say it's forever. The reason why I love the playoffs is moments change everything. Because imagine if the Spurs win Game 4 going into Game 5. Now the energy is a lot different, and we don't know if the Knicks win that game. But they didn't. They lost. And You acquired a player mid-season that shifted your future. We could point to the last title teams and what they did mid-season to point towards it. I still think the Bucks acquiring PJ Tucker at the deadline was so pivotal to them winning a title there. Because even though PJ didn't do shit offensively, the defense was valuable for them. Like, it was a thing they needed. He played like 40 minutes a game with 2 shots, but it was an impactful enough role to win. The Denver Nuggets, Christian Brown, as a rookie player, was outplaying his contract in the playoffs. Like, you need to have guys like that. And the Knicks constructed their roster where it's not just going to be Jalen Brunson and Cat. We have OG, who can really be a star shot maker with great defense. We have Mikal Bridges. We have Josh Hart. We have a Mitchell Robinson off the bench who can still rebound in spots. They just had a lot of guys there that showed up and stepped up in big moments. So I'm saying all this to say, and I want someone to try to change my mind on this. The Knicks, to me, are not just some outlier team. Because what most people do is they see a team win, and because they don't match the standard of what we think is required for a team to win, and then say, well, the Knicks are a outlier. Buddy, the Boston Celtics were another team who are considered a outlier. When you start to see multiple teams be right there, I think the definition has to change, because people didn't think Halliburton was a superstar. They almost won a title. That just is what it is. The Knicks, they won this title. The Boston Celtics, they won a title. We're at a point now where I genuinely believe the parity is so deep. The pace of play is so high, so taxing, that you need health and you need a good enough basketball roster to win. That just is what it is. And granted, a superstar can do you wonders. Yes, a superstar player can make a difference in a series. But even if we go back to the title OKC won against a Pacers team that literally forced them 7, I'm not going to say, oh, well, maybe Tyrese will get hurt, because we've seen OKC be down early in the game and come back and blitz. We've seen that multiple times. I could argue that would have happened in the finals. So I'm not gonna say that. But what I will say is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as a superstar hasn't had the cleanest of playoffs, right? Because in that final series, what I remember vividly, and I forget if it was game 5 or not, but Shai struggled severely. And what I saw as OKC was down heavy in that game was Jalen Williams willing them with buckets, with impactful scoring, with no quit, like I'm getting downhill, I'm getting fouled, to buy enough time so when the fourth quarter hit, Shai could take over the game, which granted, there was a big shot he made where he did travel. They didn't call it. I remember this shit. I remember watching it live like, oh, that's tough. But Shai very much so stepped up in the fourth quarter, and they won that game en route to them winning a championship. So that does mean something. But I say this to say it took all of that to beat a team with Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, Benedict Mathurin, Miles Turner, and one of my favorite white guards off of the bench. Oh, my fault about that. Sleeve Nash, TJ McConnell. See what I'm saying? Like that. That's a roster where on paper it's like, who's the superstar? And some people do believe that Tyrese Halliburton is that. I think he's a very good player. I don't think he's that. But independent of that, they had a very good roster. So like the point of it is that was a very good roster. And it's funny because if you single out the names, it's not as like impressive, right? But as a unit, when you watch the Pacers play in that postseason, which I had them going to the finals, you could see them playing at a much higher level than what the individual talent would represent. The Knicks won in a different way where, yes, OG was that good. Jalen Brunson, and this is my problem with the way we're viewing the Knicks right now. I don't want to shit on Jalen Brunson because I do think that's kind of corny. But let's keep it a $150, bro. Like, are y'all telling me Shea couldn't take 30 shots in a game and make 7 of them? Like there were many moments in the first 2 games where Brunson is just shot chucking, but they're in a game because OG big plays, Cat big plays, and then Brunson, for all the shot chucking, did step it up in the fourth quarter and they won these games. But I'm not going to ignore the large volume of shooting you were doing in this game that we criticize other players for doing in losses. Because had they lost game 1, had they lost game 2, we would be saying Jalen Brunson is shooting them out of the series. But we couldn't say that because they won. And see, this goes back to the topic. This is my problem with the NBA Finals. Because, like, the revision, like, people forget 2 games in, Cat was the Finals MVP. I, on God, am never letting niggas forget that. Karl Anthony Towns was the Finals MVP through 2 games. Then game 3, big foul trouble. Things didn't go the right way. Cool. And then OG Anunoby, crazy game 4. Then through 4 games, OG was Finals MVP. And then it comes down to game 5, and Brunson drops 45 points when his team scored, I think, 50 points. Like, he was crazy and deserved it. Fine. But let's not act like Jalen Brunson didn't go through stretches where he just wasn't that productive in the series. He did, which furthers my point on Jalen Brunson didn't consistently play like a superstar in that series. He didn't. Even Wemby, as dominant as Wemby will be, Wemby struggled in that series. We can say that. It happened. So my point is, like, this notion that you need a top 5 player to win, you don't, bro. I don't think you do. I think you need to have a good roster with depth that can be managed by a good coaching staff to win. I think, like, obviously, if you put a gun back here and said, you know, I'm taking a star. Like, I want the superstar. Because in theory, you having a guy that is considered a superstar is going to be the needle to swing you. But the difference is, from all the other eras, this is the era where role players might swing games more. A Jose Alvarado fourth quarter run in the fourth could swing the game more than your star player, maybe. Like, that's the thing that can happen. In chat, Gibson said, I think the lack of experience was a factor for San Antonio as well, but the Knicks won 15 for 16. I agree. JB did have some subpar games. Yeah, and listen, this is not me shitting on Jalen Brunson. All I'm saying is, can we be honest? What I hate about the NBA Finals is we live in a space for basketball now where shit is so dictated by the results. Like, no one cares about process anymore. It's just, did you win or did you not win? And it's lame to me. Like, it's so reductive to say, well, you need a star player to win. So because Jalen Brunson won, he's better than Kobe. Because Brunson won, now he's a top 10 player lock. Or, oh, because Brunson won, actually, he's better than Shea because Shea didn't play as well as Brunson in his postseason run. Like, I think this is all bullshit we're trying to do to justify why the Knicks won. And in my opinion, it's actually disrespectful to how good the Knicks are as a team. I think that's bullshit. To like, have to put players in conversations now because they won, but you're shitting on these players in the moment. Like, I remember people shitting all over Jalen Brunson, calling him a clutch merchant because he only hooped in the clutch. He only got baskets in the fourth quarter, but in the first quarter, nowhere to be found. Like, I think that's weird to me. I think that's weird. Also, I'm gonna say this too. Right now. This might be another hot take. Me personally, and again, if you get mad at this, I understand. This is the opinion of Gifted Hoops. We all don't have to have the same opinions. That's the beauty about us being on a platform like this. We get to voice our opinions and we listen and we engage with people of the community. This is Gifted Hoops' opinion. I don't know who the best in the world is anymore. if I'm being honest with y'all, like I don't know who I'm saying is the best in the world. And it's been a very long time since I haven't known the answer. I don't fucking know. Because Shea, in my opinion, because I refuse to devalue what I saw in the regular season. Shea, to me, was the most consistent player in the regular season. Played at a high level, had multiple injuries, and was the leading factor to his team being as good as they were in the regular season. I still firmly believe that. Great player. But at the same time, we're not going to act like Luka from January on until he got hurt wasn't playing insane basketball as well. I'm not going to act like I didn't see Wemby take a crazy step in the regular season. And after the crazy ass game, which I'm going to be honest with you, as a sidebar, I will never forget in my life turning on ABC for the first game of the regular season and watching the Spurs play the Mavericks and seeing the way Victor absolutely disemboweled that Dallas Mavericks team with Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis. I like the way they were getting dogged by Victor, where he had no turnover. Like, seeing that game, I'm like, I'm a Glazer. Me, get dudes, I'm a Glazer. I'm glazing that. I don't give a fuck. The way he was reverse dunk, like, he made Anthony Davis, who to me, like, I value as one of the best overall guys I've seen play defense in the NBA at a point. To see Anthony Davis get completely manhandled like a child, where you have Wemby doing and one shit, I'm like, bro, I don't know. It's looking crazy. But I say all this to say, Wemby's defense, legitimately, the way he's able to impact every possession matters. And the funny part about this is Wemby struggled more in this series, primarily because the Knicks are one of the few teams in the NBA that had shooters. They had niggas who could shoot the ball at a high clip. The Knicks ball movement was elite. The gambling of a De'Aaron Fox and some of the other guards at times showed up more in the series. The unnecessary double teaming happened a lot of times in this series because the Knicks could shoot. Like, it's so funny how this works, because we saw Wemby versus OKC and how important Wemby's defense was to stopping OKC. Because it was so much more impactful, because OKC, even though they had some guys hit big shots in the series, at the end of the day, were not as potent of a core shooting wise as this Knicks team was. And that changed the series. And again, we will be doing an extensive rewatch. First off, welcome. My name is Gifted. We do NBA content. Like the stream. We will be doing a series in the offseason, because again, I actually make more content in the offseason than the regular season. I just went super crazy in the playoffs. I want to keep that up. We're going to be doing a recap series where we basically watch all of the playoff series from this year back. I will be doing it on Twitch and YouTube. So if I get copyrighted on YouTube, we'll keep the stream up on Twitch, because I don't know how they be doing, but I'm going to do that shit. And I'm saying this all the way, though, to go back to the point of, is it fair to say Wemby shouldn't be the best in the world because he underperformed to his standard versus a team that had the most shooting to make his biggest superpower not as powerful? Like, is that fair? Right? Like it's very similar. Like we know Giannis would like dog walk the Suns, right? But like, imagine if it was Giannis versus the Heat, which we know the Heat most times have a great scheme for Giannis individually, almost all the time. So Giannis normally does not get his game off at a high level playing the Heat in the playoff. That's just not, like, even when they beat them that one year, the Heat still guarded him extremely well, right? Like, we know matchups matter so much in this, but at a baseline, I think Wemby's value might be the best in the league. But I don't know, because he didn't play like it consistently at a high level in this series. But also, going into next season, are we so sure He won't just outright dominate the league. I don't know. In chat, Nico said, "Gifted, I just brought my mic. Hey man, fire. I will be having way more open panels for sure during this offseason stretch. So definitely stay tuned on that for sure. But I'm just saying, I don't know, right? Jokic is another player that is historically viewed as like the guy. And I think I've reached a point with Jokic, and I might need to be careful to all my Denver fans in chat. But I don't know if I trust Jokic to be the best player on a title team anymore. And a lot of that isn't just on him. But I think what I really mean to say is Jokic in Denver, I don't know if Denver is going to be able to put a very good supporting cast around him to make up for his flaws anymore. And maybe I'm overreacting to how he looked, I think, versus the Wolves. I think it's definitely valid if you tell me that. But I also just think Aaron Gordon's injury history is a lot, man. And he's the main guy that's there to try to make up for what Jokic can't do on defense. I still think offensively Denver could look scary. But against the Wolves team, I mean, they looked human. They just did. And they walked to the basket all over Jokic. Like, I don't know if I can still feel comfortable in saying Jokic is the best player in the world anymore. Especially when I thought Shea was better than Jokic in the regular season overall. So it's harder for me to come to that same line of thinking, especially because their owner is a cheap fuck who doesn't want to go over the luxury tax. And they just signed Christian Brown to a $125 million contract, and he's not that good. So it's like I don't know how much better Denver gets as a roster until both of those areas are met. Also, Jamal Murray just isn't as great as people think he is. He's very good. He had an all NBA caliber season this year to me, but it was very tough in the playoffs. I don't know. In chat, Emperor said their owner pays for Arsenal. Oh, they do? And the Rams? Okay, so why are they cheap for Denver then? I don't know. That's weird. Like, I think the Nuggets have a lot they have to trade for to make the roster better. I just don't know if I trust in it being enough to beat OKC and the Spurs in the West. And then honestly, whoever comes out the East at that point, I'm just saying I don't know. I'm not high on it as much. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Fair, Isaac. They do make the less money. That's fair to say. But I kind of think we're also at a point in basketball where you got to spend that fucking chicken you want to win. Actually, real quick, let's go through the last 10 NBA winners. Hang on. I'm going to just Google this here to make sure we can see last 10 NBA champions. Just so y'all can see all these teams and we can point to how much money they've had to invest here. Hang on. All right, so let me share my screen here, right? So, Knicks, they have paid pretty much all their players. OKC, young team, didn't really pay their players. Outlier team to me. Boston paid all their players. Denver, at the time, I don't know what the cap sheet was. I think Denver wasn't over the tax, so that's fine. Definitely over the tax. Paid a ton of their players. Paid a lot of their players. Paid. Like all these teams have significant players that are getting exactly what they should be getting for the most part. So I just feel like, especially in this era moving forward, you're gonna have to pay your core. And the problem is, like, you need to have a roster that has continuity. I still feel like the one thing that's consistent in terms of who the winners are is you have to have a sense of continuity over at least 2 years to win. The Knicks had continuity. OKC had continuity. Boston, granted, they threw in two random players that had never been there before, but Tatum and Brown as a core had continuity. That coaching staff had continuity. Like, these are things that, if you know, are fair to say for me, right? Denver had continuity. Obviously, Golden State. Obviously, the Cavs did too. You still need that to me. In chat, Randy Balin says Stan Kroenke is the owner and his wife is from the Watson family. The Walmart Watson. Oh, so they got money, but they don't want to spend it. And that's my problem with this shit, Chad. I'm sorry. I feel like if you're not going all in on your team, which obviously I'm not saying everyone has to get paid everything. I'm not saying that. But if you're a team serious about winning, if you're close to having real continuity, you believe in it, you got to pay your players. The Knicks paid literally all their players everything they could, primarily because Brunson took less, of course, but they still did what they needed to do, and they won now. Like that's a factor that matters to me. Like, I feel like if Denver had a chance to improve the roster, but it made them go over the tax, I don't know if they're doing it. And that's why I struggle to say they're like a real team to still be in that mix for me. I don't know. In chat, Junebug said the Nuggets paid their players though. Well, yeah, but the problem is, like, no one asked you to pay Christian fucking Brown though. Like, okay. I think the more reasonable thing for me to say is not just about paying your players, but about being reasonable as to like what you're getting out of them. Christian Brown in no way in hell was it all worth $125 million. I would have let him walk for that. I think that was a dumb thing. Like, that's the thing we're in. Paying players, but also knowing what you can realistically get out of them as their ceiling and floors. Brown just hasn't been that. Christian Brown just needs to get better. Peyton Watson getting better. Peyton Watson getting better. Listen, Brown to me is a backup, and that's good. Like, bro, I generally think if you have Christian Brown as a bench player, you're a good team. If he has to start for you, I don't know about that. But that's why the Spurs are in such an interesting spot, because you have Dylan Harper who wants to start. You have more cap space coming into next season, which means there's more moves you can make. And also, keep in mind, they made a change to the overall CBA a couple years ago. So now you have to start paying players earlier to hit that cap floor before the season begins. So there's going to be some players, I think, who get overpaid. That'll be a thing. Okay, Jubuk says since 2022 that they have gone over the apron. Well, yeah, but like to me, if you're going, I think, over the apron, it has to be a reasonable, I think, going over, and it has to be for like a move that you can almost guarantee will make the roster significantly better. To me, giving a fast break merchant $125 million is not the wave. Like, I would save that for this offseason. But now that's something you do have to eat. To be fair, had to pay Jokic, got to do that. I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying, moving forward from this season to now, when I'm looking at who Denver is as a unit, as a team, they still are a ways off. And maybe I'm just overreacting to like how they play versus Minnesota. But like, I don't love the fact that a player in like Terrence, who's like not playing, can just come in and just have a feast easily on your defense when he doesn't play. That's just not a great look for me. But again, I could be overreacting. I think there's so many good teams. Oh shit, my light went on. Hang on. Ignore that. Okay. I think that there are it's so much parity at this point. I think this offseason is going to really change up a lot of shit. Because again, we have to keep in mind the draft lottery is so different now, where now the odds are more flat. So all this we'll trade in, like, these picks are going to be more valuable now because anyone can get a top 3 pick if you're not in the bottom 3 worst teams. So now you ironically don't want to do business, or I'm not gonna say don't. You would rather do business with like a middling team than like really ass team, because those teams have a worse odds, I think, to get top three. That's the problem, you know? I just don't know who you want them to pay instead. Free agency is dead and they don't have assets. I think this offseason for Denver is dead. I'm talking about like in the next, I would say 2 to 4 years, though. You know what I'm saying? That's my problem. If I'm the Nuggets, I'm calling for Kawhi or KD. Okay. Who? Okay. You know what, chap? Let me ask you something. If you're Denver, what is the move that is putting them back into those real conversations? And does that move include you having to trade Jamal Murray? That's my question. Like, are we sure Jokic and Kevin Durant is good enough? If I'm Denver, I'm calling and I'm going to ask for Derek White. I think Boston's down to move Derek White if the trade makes sense. I don't think that's crazy. I think Jaylen Brown is gone. And like, I kind of feel that way because of how he talked at the end of the season, and Brad moves very quickly as a GM. He mentioned that he wasn't really satisfied with how the team played at all during the regular season. I don't think they're going to rush into trading Jaylen Brown, but I guarantee you if they have a chance to get Giannis using his contract, they probably will do it. But it depends on, again, how serious the Bucks are, because we still don't know how real that team is yet. We got to wait. Junebug said Giannis has been in Boston for like 3 weeks for me already. I think he's going to Boston too, low key. But it's Giannis, so I don't know anything. You feel what I'm saying? And like, part of me thinks Giannis needs to transition to being a 5, but I just don't think that's his game at all. I think he makes way more sense as a 4 than a 5. And preferably if you have a 5 who can shoot, you make it work. But I don't think they're going to have that if he does go, I think, to Boston. I think Tatum's going to be the 4 and he'll be the 5. Or you shift, I think, Tatum to the 3 and you put Giannis at the 4. And then you have, I think, Garza at the 5, which is nasty because Garza isn't like a real 5 like that. But I mean, it's something. So I don't know. I think Boston is in a very intriguing place right now, honestly. And Chad Zach said, with the Kawhi we saw this season, he fits perfectly next to Murray, and Jokic and the Clippers are 100%. Yeah, I do think Kawhi is probably gone this offseason, if you had to ask me. I do think that. Okay, Jubuk said he said Giannis will be in Boston wearing a shamrock and still be tweeting about not wanting. Yeah. And that's the problem. Like, he just, like, his talks make everything so slow. I just don't believe it anymore. In chat, Oakland Josh said they might get Bobby with Giannis. I mean, newsflash, I don't think Bobby's a real 5 either. I think Bobby's better as a backup. I think 4 than 5. But independent of that, though, I still think if I'm Boston, I would do that, though. Because it's like Giannis makes a ton of overall sense with Tatum. You have a fantastic shooting ecosystem. You have like literally 1-for-1 salary to match. Like, I'm doing that trade. So like, I don't feel bad. Like, I feel like a part of what makes a good team is you make a move and you have to trust your front office to make the move make sense, both in season and then out of season. And I think the core of Giannis and Tatum is a good core. I don't hate that, you know? Go get tested because it's happening. I do believe it, Junebug, but again, we got to see. I think JD said we're going to upgrade the 5 spot with the MLE. Okay, so then, okay, here's my question then. If you're Boston, chat, who's the 5 you're targeting to drastically improve the roster? Who is it? Because again, and I'll pull this up real quick. I don't think people have been focused on this. Let me show you this real quick. Is my mouse cooked? It's not cooked. Hang on. Let me Spo track. Hang on. So if we go to NBA free agents and we go to the center position. Here's your centers. You have Isaiah Hartenstein, who can't really shoot. You have Nikola Vucevic, who is ass and expiring and not playable. He's gone. You got Nurkic, who is a fake triple-double on a tanking team. And you have Zach Collins. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be so real with you, bro. If I'm Boston, the player I'm getting on my knees and praying I can steal, but I probably will not because we know the GM. I am trying to get Walker Kessler. Utah, please let me get Walker Kessler, bro. If the Jazz get Walker Kessler, Giannis and Walker Kessler is scary as shit. I do like that, bro. Walker Kessler with Giannis with regular Boston Celtics spacing is scary than a bitch. I'm very moved. Jumbuck said, I think you can run a normal center with Giannis with the Celtics. Yeah, I do believe that. I'm not subscribed to the theory that you have to have a spacing five next to Giannis. I just know it does make it easier. But if you have a good screener, like my thing is, as long as you have a good enough screener, even if they can't really rebound the best, that can work with Giannis. Get yourself a big who can definitely screen. Some pop ability would be nice. And chat, I know it's only 7 games. The shit I saw Walker Kessler doing in them 7 games, I'm sold. I like that fit. Jubuk said they just need to be athletic. Well, yes. Athleticism would also be great. But again, going back to this list, Andre Drummond, Jalen Duren, Jesus Christ, Mark Williams, Dwight Powell, like who of all these bigs are the bigs you guys want? Because I think Walker Kessler understands what his value is, which is probably why it won't get done. But, like, honestly, outside of Walker, you probably go Mitchell Robinson because of the defense. I just don't like the fact that my big cannot make free throws, and that's just acceptable. Like that's really bad to me. Mo Wagner's not bad, but I feel like he's more backup big than, like, real big to me. I don't know. Jumbo said Mitch Ihart. Yeah, 2 bigs out of, like, the whole league. In Chad, Gibson said, even if Boston just adds Giannis and Tatum, I think they would be the favorites. They don't need to spend big money on a big, yeah. But see, listen, we have to break down our definition of serviceable. When I say the word a starting big that is serviceable, I'm talking about a player that can at least play 20 minutes a night in the playoffs. That's what you need. Zach. Oh god. Oh goodness. Resigning Vucevic. I'm so good on that. Hell no to Vucevic. Yeah, I'm not rolling with that. Honestly, y'all could go for Mark Williams. I mean, I don't know if I trust him at all to play real minutes in the playoffs, but I mean, he's there. He's also athletic, but I still think the biggest name we got to really stare at, though, is Walker Kessler. Because, again, one thing I will say, Danny Ainge was a Boston Celtic. So if there's any team that he might give it to on the low, it could be Boston. Listen, we love to shit on the Clippers for the tampering shit and the tree shit with Kawhi. Well, Boston might be on that same time. I'm just saying, if Walker Kessler ends up a Boston Celtic, we know what happened. You heard it here first, chat. That's all I'm saying. I think in chat, Zach said, what did Boston give up for Vooch? I'm pretty sure they traded Anthony Simons for Vucevic. I mean, he walked because he's just not very good. He got hurt at the end of the season. He got fried a lot defensively, and the shot wasn't falling at an elite clip. Junebug said I didn't realize how much money they have. 35 million under. Yeah, I think they're for sure gonna make a play. I do feel like they wound up in a spot where they could have used the guard variants from Simons in the playoffs. That's definitely fair to say. Let's look up the books for Boston real quick while we're here, Chet. Hang on. NBA, Boston Celtics. So this is their 26-27 season. So they have these Reds who are pretty much expiring. Baylor shot. Yeah, they actually have a good amount of money. Jaylen Brown. Oh, the other reason why I think Jaylen Brown might be gone is because Jaylen Brown is technically extension eligible, and I feel like if he doesn't get extended, the 61 and 64 million dollars that are promised to him for the next 2 seasons, Boston might just not want to pay if they don't want to extend Jaylen Brown. Also think it's pretty important to point out that next year Jason Tatum will also be extension eligible, and it's like, do you really want to pay both of those guys moving forward? I mean, maybe, because they've been very important for like the build of Boston for like the last decade, so I could see it, but I don't think it's guaranteed, Chad. I don't know. Yeah, and listen, that to me, Jubug, is why I promise you, my brother, I'm with you, because I'm literally thinking, like, of all the teams to have to make a Giannis deal, what makes it complicating is the massive amount of money he's making. Jaylen Brown is damn near 1-for-1 with Giannis in terms of total contract value. And because of that, you can more easily get him back. And also, Brown is still a young star player, even though if I'm the Bucks, I don't know if I really want Jaylen Brown, but he'd be the best player you get back. So that's cool, you know. Zach said in chat, Jaylen Brown definitely seemed like a guy who wants to be the face of his own team. Well, yeah, but he definitely doesn't want to do it in, I think, Milwaukee. But I think he would do it. Yeah, the only thing you can nitpick about is the bigs, but I promise you, I think you can really figure that out. Like, even if they don't get a like great big who can play like 25 minutes a night, all you need, and my light went on again. All you need is like a big that can just play 15 minutes. Like, just get a better overall front court depth next to Giannis, period. Get yourself a really good power forward outside of Tatum, and you can be valid. You know what I'm saying? If they get Bobby Portis off their bench, that's not bad at all. I don't hate that. I don't hate that for them either. But I don't know, man. We got to see. Atlanta or Portland would be nice. Portland's interesting because if you go to Portland's team real quick, where's Portland at? Hang on. I think Portland's right here. So for Portland, like, they have a very interesting team here because most of their contracts are like fully guaranteed for the most part. Dame is back as well next year, which like he's making 13 million. I mean, I just don't know exactly what Portland does because I think Jaylen Brown being in Portland makes a lot more sense than Milwaukee. But like, okay, it's hard for me because Portland has the Bucks picks. So that's why Portland being involved makes a ton of sense because now the Bucks have more control over their own future. But that becomes a 3-teamer, and I don't know if Portland is going to keep Dame and Denny with Jaylen Brown. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. In chat, RTC said Jaylen Brown can stay in Boston and Twitch. Regardless of where Jaylen Brown goes, he will be on Twitch. He's been nothing if not consistent. So big shout out to my dog, Jaylen Brown. Respect to that. I think JD said they need a true number one, and they are ascending. I mean, Jaylen Brown isn't a true number one though, so that's another problem. I don't think Jaylen Brown is that good. Sorry, you know. I don't think Dame. I'm curious about how Dame looks because He did have like a whole year off, so we got to see how that looks. I don't think I'm trading Denny because, I mean, bro, the contract value is crazy for Denny, right? Bro, Denny is making 13 million and then 11 million. That is fucking wild. Denny Avia is making, I had no idea he was making $13 million next season. That is crazy value. And yeah. Oh, that's crazy as shit. Wow. Yeah, no. Their books actually aren't bad. Granted, their owner definitely doesn't want to go over anything, so I don't know. JD says Shaden, Jeremy Grant, salary filler and picks to Milwaukee. You say Giannis to Boston, JB to Portland. I mean, ideally that framework doesn't sound terrible, but the problem is the Bucks need something back. I don't know if Shaden moves the needle for them. Bucks probably would want Scoot. I don't know if Portland's willing to come off of Scoot, but I do kind of feel like if you have Denny, Dame, and Jaylen Brown, I might take that without Scoot Henderson on the roster. Because I don't know if I trust Scoot to be that good of a player. I mean, he had a cool season when he came back off injury, but overall, he kind of just hasn't really been that good as a player so far in the league. It's still early for Scoot. I mean, he just turned, I think, 22, but I don't know. I think in chat, Jubbook said, not gonna lie, I would give up. Like, I don't know how to evaluate Scoot Henderson because I generally don't think he's that good, but he did play better towards the end of the season, and he played solid in the playoffs. Granted, he did have some games where like he literally did not score, but he's young and has barely played like real game. Actually, let's pull up his b-ball reference real quick, chat. Hold on. Scoot Henderson basketball reference. Hang on, let me see. Gifted, you don't watch the World Cup? I do not, but shout out to everyone involved type shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Scoot Henderson, let's see. Yeah, like, he was hurt, so he only played 30 games. He averaged 14 points in 24 minutes of play. He shot 35% from 3 on 5 attempts and 41. He was cool. I think in the postseason, he had like 2 Madden games, but like outside of that, I don't think he was that good. Let's see. He went 0 for 7 in one of the games. He shot 11 for 17 in this game. How many points was that? Yeah. So he had one game where he honestly, okay, wait a minute. 31 points and then 21 points on like, I think 18 shots. I mean, listen, these aren't bad numbers for a 22-year-old player, though. And like the argument for Scoot is like most of his career he's been hurt, so I can buy it. But all I'm saying is this: if you're Portland and you can maximize the Dame window with Denny and Jaylen Brown, does it not make more like I think I would do that and give up on Henderson? I think I might do that. Junebug said no. You definitely allow him to shoot. This is true. Yeah. But like, I don't think him having problems with like a top 2 defensive team, if not the best team, is a bad thing when he's literally 20. Like, he's 22 years old. His coach literally called in-season Rico. And he's never played before in the playoffs. Like, all like, bro, I could argue he should have been worse in the playoffs, and he wasn't. Like, I don't think that's a loud enough thing to make me feel bad about Scoot because he barely played this season. Like, he probably, he honestly should have been worse. Honestly, and I'm only saying that because he's young. I feel like if he's 25, 24, I probably wouldn't be saying that. Jason said Giannis going to Portland makes no sense. Jason, we're not saying Giannis to Portland. Giannis would go to Boston. Portland would be trading Scoot Henderson and Shaden Sharp they would go out and go, I think, to the Bucks. Giannis isn't going to Portland. No. But the pieces around it would be going back to Portland because Portland, they have, I think, the Bucks picks. My thing is this though: if you're if you're Portland, right, and you're getting up the picks, why do you need to also throw in Scoot Henderson when you're trading the picks back along with Shaden Sharp? Like, you already gave up enough in that deal. Zach in chat said Blazers might be better off keeping all the young players and have a depth of good players. I think to build something. I mean, that's not crazy. I don't think that's a bad thing either. Like, I think Portland can definitely just stay the course and not make a shift. But if there was a Jaylen Brown team to somewhat make sense, I think a Dame, Denny, Jaylen Brown team isn't bad. I just don't like the idea of Dame and Denny on the floor together because I feel like the defense is blah. Maybe because Dame would have the ball more, it would give Denny freedom to play more defense. But then at the same time, Denny isn't playing the same on-ball role he did this year, which was like his best value. So I don't know. Portland's kind of weird to me. I don't know how to feel. But I'll say this much though. In chat, Jubug said, "Do the Pistons have enough to go after Brown?" Well, right now the Pistons seem to be focused on getting Tyler Hero. I don't think Detroit by themselves has enough to go get Jaylen Brown, but we can pull up their numbers real quick too, because why not? We'll pull up Detroit real quick. So you got Cade making 50. You have Duncan making 15. You have Isaiah Stewart making 15. You have Karis LeVert making 14. I mean, off the rip, their most valuable players is probably Ron Holland because he's young. Isaiah Stewart, they talked about trying to flip already. I mean, Karis LeVert is a mid, I would say, NBA journeyman who can be whatever. They have their picks though, so I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I really don't understand people trying to tell me that they don't think Tyler Hero makes sense on this team. I think Tyler makes a ton of sense on this team because he's on a good team that needs a ball handler. They play really good defense. He's a rebounding guard. Also, Cade is very tall. Tyler can definitely do two guard action with him and Cade. Cade is a good post player, so you can literally get comfortable advantages from that. And if nothing else, Tyler is a movement shooter. Like, I don't hate that. Granted, he's not a great defender, but like, I think Detroit might have too much defense. I kind of think you can figure that out. I don't know. In chat, Junebug said Duran on LA makes so much money. I don't think LA is doing that. I don't know. Zach said, I think Tobias in a sign and trade, Karis in. All right, so like, I'm gonna say this right now. This is not hate. Can we stop saying the name Devin Booker? Like, just listen. As a basketball chat, let's just all quickly, right? Be quiet, everyone. I want you to close your eyes. We are not thinking about Devin Booker. We will not think about Devin Booker. And the reason why we will not reference Devin Booker in any capacity for any of these deals is because let me show you what Devin Booker is making. Because I don't think people understand why he's not in any of these talks. Let me show you exactly how much money Devin Booker is making. I don't think people realize this. 57, 61, 63, $68 million in, I think, 2009. Which, to be fair, we should stop looking at how much money they're making as compared to the cap hit, because money is technically speaking variable. But the problem is, even when I do that, it's still insane. Like, he has a player option for I think 70 million in this year. If I go here, let me see. Yeah, see this right here? 63 million and then 68. Like that is an insane amount of money, bro. It just is. I'm sorry. Like it's a lot of bread, bro. Yeah. So that's why, like, anyone saying Devin Booker should go to the Pistons, what you're asking them to do is to gut their roster to make it make sense money-wise. That boy is a Phoenix Sun. Junebug said, I think the Spurs should be... Honestly, I don't hate the idea of Tobias Harris on a roster. I think he's what people believed Harrison Barnes was. If we're being honest, like, everything people swore they felt like he could do, I'm pretty sure Tobias actually can do, because I just saw him be like the number 2 option in Detroit in the playoffs and was doing pretty solid. I think him with way less pressure on him as a veteran presence too, I don't hate that. And he's a 4. The best part about Tobias is you know exactly what, but he is a 4. And you need a 4. So, like, I actually wouldn't hate that for you, honestly. I just don't know how much money he gonna make. In chat, Zach said Tobias would be a slightly better Champagne. Whoa. Okay, look. First off, I would argue Tobias is probably better than Champagne. I know the shooting from Champagne is a big deal, but in terms of like size at the position with shooting, I think that's actually more impactful. Also, he's way more physical, and he's actually not fluid on defense. I was impressed with the defense I saw from Tobias in the postseason. It actually wasn't bad. And Chad McHale said, he said Tobias will be great when he realizes that he is a 3rd to 4th option. I think he knows that, but my thing is this, like, he got paid. Like, I think Detroit's going to probably bring back Tobias because there's real ties between Tobias and Detroit. And he got a really overall, like, he got way more playing responsibilities than he would get on, I think, other teams. And I think he likes that. So he might stay. Junebug said he's 1 inch taller. Isn't Tobias like 6'9"? Yeah. It's fine. We get, bro, Bron is not coming to the Spurs, Junebug. Stop it, bro. He's not going to the Spurs, but we know this. Chill, bro. You're not getting LeBron James on a no. Now I will say this. Let's actually have that conversation, chat. Where's LeBron going? Because the Lakers are not offering him a max contract, and I don't know what other team in their right mind would outside of Golden State because we're fucking stupid. Where does he go? Like, I really am thinking about it right now in my head. Like, where will LeBron James go feasibly? Because it's not the Clippers. I just don't think he would go there. I've heard people say the Cavs. I think LeBron is not taking a pay cut that every LeBron fan tells me he is. I just don't really believe that. Mikhail, I don't think LeBron's retiring this season. I think it would be a 1 more season deal. I think the Spurs make a lot of sense. The problem is, like, I think LeBron going to the Spurs playing with Wemby would be the only thing people talk about for LeBron's end of season career. And they'll say that he was ring chasing, which I kind of don't give a fuck about. Like, bro, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I have no problem with players putting themselves on advantageous spots to win, because that's kind of what you should want to do if you want to win. That's perfectly fine. I just hate it when, like, we act like it didn't happen. Like, yes, he went on a better team to try to go win. Like, yes, that's a good thing. Like, yes, I would want a player to want to maximize his chance. Why would you not want that? Oh, she was good, Sue. He said, Gifted, what do you think we should do? Trade for Kawhi and Bron, only get Bron, or get Anthony Davis? Not gonna hold you. I am so far removed from the Anthony Davis shit. I do not want Anthony Davis in any capacity. And I think Anthony Davis is good. I just think we're already the oldest team in the league. And I feel like getting another player who's injury prone like shit It's just a very bad call. To be fair, you can make the same argument, I think, for Kawhi, but for some reason, I trust him more than Anthony Davis to play, which is probably ass, and it's probably more of the same. But I also just think this team needs someone to score, and like AD is not like a 5, he's a 4. In chat, Poet Cap asked, do you think Giannis is getting traded today? No, I don't. Part of me thinks he's not getting traded at all. But like, if I had to be honest about it, I think he probably gets flipped before the draft. I think like 2 hours before the draft, he gets traded. I think for me personally, as a Golden State fan, which I haven't really talked about much because we cover basketball and I'm gifted hoops and I'm multifaceted and we care about all these other teams. Yay. But nah, I think for me as a Warriors fan, we're kind of fucked. Like there's not a real trade that makes us significantly better. But while we're fucked, we're also in a good spot, kind of. Because we have the framework of a team that can be something if you made the role players better. Or you drop like a real star scorer on the team. I think Kawhi Leonard is a great fit for the Warriors. I think him and Steph would be crazy. I think if you're able to keep Jimmy Butler in a deal like that as well, I think I'm super with it. But it depends on like how you make the money work. Me personally, I know the counter's going to be, oh, gifted Kawhi's old. Yeah, well, we have a 38-year-old guard on our roster who was still very impactful this season when he played. So I'm okay with it, honestly. I don't know. Nah, you a Pistons fan now? Yes, I am a Warriors and Pistons fan because I am a Detroiter, but I will always primarily support the Warriors first. That's fair for me to say. In chat, Junebug said you're kind of just waiting for Steph and Draymond to retire to rebuild. See, like this is definitely true, but at the same time, like we have the Wemby stopper on our team, chat. As long as you have a weapon on your team that is a Wemby stopper, you have a chance to win the title. And Steph is that. So, I don't know, man. We do have the MLE to make some shit. The only problem is, like, you're asking me to trust Golden State to make moves to improve their roster in the offseason. I don't know how that goes. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think based on how the Warriors play basketball, if the talent is better with more size, they can actually be a dark horse team to be competitive. I personally like Jimmy Butler. Like, I don't think Jimmy Butler was at all the issue with the Warriors this last year when he was playing. I think the lack of talent around us was really bad. I think Draymond supremely regressing was really bad. I think B-Pods being B shit was really bad. I think our big man, who I'm actually forgetting his fucking name because he was so mid. Damn. Did I really forget bro name? White, big man shooter, best in the league, but ass really. Nah, I know his name, bro. I'm not reading shit. Hang on. Was it Q something? Oh, I believe Quentin Post. Yeah, he's ass. But, like, at times he wasn't ass. Like, it really came down to, like, our role players just weren't good enough to win games. And Steph had to do so much. He was out for, like, 2 months. If you put another star player who can score and play defense with size and length, I think we're right there. And if you keep Jimmy Butler, I don't hate it. Now, am I picking them to comfortably beat the Spurs or beat OKC? Probably not. But how Steph plays, maybe. We just need some more athleticism, I feel like. I don't know. J-Man said, is it to the point where you should... Oh, I've been saying for like a minute, independent of me being a fan or not, they should trade Steph. I've been saying that for some time. A lot of Warriors fans don't like me saying that, but it's like, if you're going to not improve the roster, as much as I like watching Steph play on this team, and I am a fan, I'm gonna watch him regardless of what team he's on. So I would be okay with you trading him if you're gonna fuck around and bullshit. Like, to me, if you're not making moves to like significantly make this a more win now team with Steph, then just trade Steph, and I'm okay with that. Junebug said, with a team in that situation, I would legit just, yeah, and like I would have no problem doing that. Like, I would have no problem trading Steph for a clear player that will be a good player in the future. I'm cool. And the main reason why I'm saying it is I don't trust this front office regime to make the roster around Steph better. So if that's the case, just trade the nigga, and I'm okay with it. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. Now, granted, people are going to say, oh, gifted, fake Warriors for saying that. But it's like, no, I'm being realistic. Like, this team has not made significant moves for 3 off seasons now. And the crazy part is, Steph's been a top 10 player all 3 off seasons. Like it is funny seeing some of these off season lists, by the way, because it's funny, right? Like, I'm sorry. Steph gave a team that went to the finals 40 back-to-back on the road and was pretty good all season, gets hurt for 2 months, and now he's not a top 30 player. Like I'm seeing people once again have Kevin Durant over Steph Curry when Steph Curry has clearly been better than this nigga for a very long time. It's weird, but they're old, so like I don't really get too mad. I don't really fight the good fight anymore. It kind of just is what it is. You know, I think in chat Jewbuck said, I wonder if the Mavs would have traded the first for. That's a good question, actually. I don't know. I don't think they would. He doesn't play enough games. I mean, that's one season though. Like, if I zoom out, so. Let's pull this up real quick, because this is the other part that really annoys me when it comes down to, I think, his... so, he played 43 games. I get it this season, right? Like that's fine. I understand it. But, like, when he was on the floor, you're not going to tell me he wasn't better than, like, a lot of these niggas. But even if we zoom out from that, he played 74 games in 23. He played 70 games last year, and then he played only 43 games. And it was because of a knee thing. Cool. If you want to project that like he'll be a worse player because of that, I mean, fine. But for some reason, that never happens with KD, because KD, he stays with a really good box score. But impact-wise, like, I truly feel like if you put Steph on the team, they can still win right now. We are just ass. So, tough. I would still believe in the Curry and Butler duo with Draymond, KP, and whatever. I don't trust Porzingis to play basketball, so I wouldn't trust that, actually. But, cool. Like, I might try to, like, fake talk myself into it, because it started to make more sense at the end of the season, but I don't want too many players I can't really rely on. I like Kawhi because I think we need someone else who can score the ball at the same efficient clip as Steph on the roster, who can take pressure off Steph. That's why I like having him on this team. I also think having another guy who can really play defense and like doesn't have to play make as much because there's active playmaking around him is good. I think the idea of pairing Draymond and Kawhi Leonard defensively just makes more sense. And again, having another player who can actively space is a thing. We don't have enough shooting and enough scoring and enough size on the roster. Those are the 3 main issues with this roster. I've said for years, they never want to put spacing around Steph because he is the spacer. If you put spacing plus athletes next to Steph, the team is going to look very, very good. I know this, and I get it. He's old. Like, I hear all that. I know what I saw in season. Like, I'm sorry, back-to-back 40s when he was injured against the Spurs is crazy. I'm holding on to that, But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I truly don't know what the Warriors do. I think they might actually use their draft pick to draft size. I think Gasol Landenberg is the guy that they're gonna probably try to target because of his size and his overall shooting ability, which I wouldn't hate. He is older, but that's kind of where they are. Like, it's a weird place where they're at right now. Outside of that, I mean, like, I could reopen the Giannis shit, but I just don't think the Warriors have the assets it's gonna take to go get Giannis. And I think more importantly, like, the fit next to Giannis with like the rest of the roster is kind of in flux a little bit. I do think Giannis would be a crazy pairing with Steph because I think Steph sets screens better than Giannis. So like it would be wild. I think he would play off the ball as well. But my problem is just like as much of a Steph Curry fan I am, we gotta zoom past duos and trios. Like, this is very much a roster thing. And it's like, okay, who's your backup five? How tall are you? What's your length looking like? What's your defense? What are your overall deflections like? Where are you offensively? Like, all of those things Golden State lacks in a ton, and I just can't trust it. So I stopped like trying to entertain myself on that bullshit. But also, I just watch basketball, so I don't have to be like so upfront about my team as much, you know? What's good, Sturdy? Salute everybody. Yes, big salute to everyone. This is my first stream since the NBA Finals. I was thinking about doing some occasional WNBA watch parties because I'm about to begin watching Hardcore W more. So kind of expect that. But definitely in terms of content for NBA, I'll probably be doing 2 streams a week on that. Specifically, we will be live streaming both days of the draft probably, and then we'll see how things overall shift. I think free agency will be some bombshells. I'm wondering if Houston trades Kevin Durant, because I really want to know like what Houston does to like drastically improve their roster, because they were not good enough. They lost to a team that didn't have Luka play the entire series. I think that it's a very important thing to point out. Like, you traded your assets for KD and you didn't get out the first round again. Like, that is fucking pitiful, you know? Who do you hope the Warriors get in the draft? If there was a player, based on their position, it would be either Yando Laxenberg or the one big from, I think, Michigan. I think it's Adam Yara. Let me Google his name to make sure I'm getting this right. Adam Yara. Let me see this shit. Adam Yara. I did not spell his name right. Hang on. Adam Yara, Michigan, or some shit. Fuck. Michigan Wolverines, maybe. I don't know. I probably don't have his name right. All I know is there's like a 7'3" big who can move and has some type of shooting touch. That's someone I want, because we need to have like a real 5. So like, it's either him or probably Yando. Granted, I didn't watch most of these players play in college, so I'm probably not the guy to ask on that. But like, I think based off the tape that I've seen, those would be the guys I would want on this team if we were to actually draft. So I don't know. Jubug in chat said the Rockets are just lucky they didn't overpay Şengün. They will also try and get Ahmed on a good deal. I can see that. I can see that for sure. I just think they have to a lot of steps to make if they want to be like a real contender. Because even with Fred coming back next year, like, are we really saying the Rockets are like a real contender? I don't think so. DJ said in chat, if I believed that the Warriors are going to go all in to win the chip, I love Yaxel, but since we know they're not trading the picks for talent, I just want young player potential. And yeah, and like, I think Yaxel is gonna probably be a good role player. I don't know what his ceiling is as a player because he is 24. But I just feel like if you're not trying to commit to the right now window, trade Steph Curry and just rebuild. Dead ass, like, just do it, you know? Whoa, hold on. I gotta upgrade on my phone. Atlanta Hawks guard CJ McCollum has agreed to a 1 year. Oh, hang on. Let's pull this up on stream real quick. Chat. Hold on. Let me see how much he made. Okay, it says right here, Atlanta Hawks guard CJ McCollum has agreed to a 1 year, $21 million contract extension with the franchise. Plus, he got a trade kicker too. Oh my God, CJ, work out. Says agent Sam Goldfeder of Excel Sports Management tells ESPN CJ has been eligible for extension until June 30th. First off, I'm saying this right now. This man CJ got the bag because of how he played in the playoffs. Salute to my dog CJ. A lot of fans of Golden State hate CJ. I don't. Get to your bag, bro. You were part of a team that beat this team twice in one series. They only had 3 total losses for the entire postseason. Shout out to CJ. I'm trying to think of like what that means because I think Kuminga might also be on the block for them as well. I don't know. Yeah, that's a crazy asset they got for him. So that's huge. In chat, Junebug said Mara made 3 threes. Those empty gym clips are lies. I mean, that's cool, but like I'm not even focused on like the 3 being elite. I'm more so thinking the length and the size are what intrigue me with him as a 5. I think it's possible he could develop his shot, which I'm okay with. I don't know. Why would Hawks do this? Aren't they going to draft a guard and now the pick? I mean, CJ's going to be like a backup guard, though. That's not a big deal. I don't think CJ signed that to start. I think he signed that because he knew they would pay him. Emperor said someone needs to draft Nate Ahmed before 12. I've heard that name going around a ton. Is Nate Ahmed like good? Like I'm gonna be watching film after the draft, but I'm gonna watch some beforehand just to understand. I think the top 14 picks because again, I'm not currently as in the loop as I could be right now, so that's fair to say. But I'm gonna tap it at some point. Is this real? Oh, nigga, chat. Just in, Giannis is expected to be traded in the next. Yeah, so that lines up with saying if Giannis is going to get traded, it's going to be before the draft. We got to see what happens with that. I don't know exactly how real that is. It would be funny if like I chose to end stream and then right after I end it, he gets traded because I'd have to fire back up. But yeah, man. I think this is a very intriguing spot we're currently in. I think for this offseason, I think I covered pretty much all the teams I wanted to get to. I don't think De'Aaron Fox gets traded in this offseason, by the way, chat. I don't see it. I think they go one more year with them. My question is it feasible at all for the Spurs to start Harper and Fox together? Because that would mean I think Champagne would have to go to the bench. And I mean, he's a shooter, but they probably don't want to do that. They probably would want Harper to still lead their bench unit. I just think Harper has shown he's good enough to officially be starting on the team. I don't know. Nate is mid overall. People compare him to Zach Researcher. Who has compared him to Zach Researcher? I've never heard that before. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think in my head what else is there. So oh yeah, the Heat. Okay. What do we do if the Heat don't improve their roster at all and they do nothing? Like, are we okay with that? Are we not? Like, cause like I do feel like the Heat are in another year of like you haven't really done much. You didn't really said laugh. Yeah, fairs. Okay, Jewbuck said Ron Harper said on Twitter that a spot is earned. A spot is earned. Replying to people saying he needs to start. I think Junebug. I think to push back though, saying a spot is earned is funny because he definitely earned his spot. I mean, he outplayed Fox in the finals. I kind of think you could argue he earned his shit. So I don't know. I've been here for like an hour now, lurking till you said something about the Heat. Yeah, like I really want to view the Heat because I have a Heat source, and again, I'm not lying when I say this, but like I do have a person who knows the guy who knows the guy. They work for I believe SI, and they were asked to write an article about the trade, but it got pushed back. So we don't know. I'm not gonna say who it is, but that's a thing. I also know that we have been fucked by the Heat many times before. I wouldn't be surprised this is another would-be trade that doesn't happen for the Heat. Okay, Junebug said Fox was hurt. To be fair, I don't think he actually. I mean, okay, that's fair. I just, how do I say this? I think Fox is more mid than great, and I think Dylan Harper's overall game, like, I think regardless, Harper will touch the paint more than Fox. I think Fox is probably a better passer. Fox is not a better defender. I think the shooting's low-key comparable if you look at the growth I saw Dylan Harper make. I don't know. I agree that he's limited, but I kind of feel like that's why he needs more reps with like the starting unit. I don't know. I just think Fox is making a shit ton of money. We'll see what's up. Heat. Yes. Okay. So Bam is making $49 million. He'll be making 53 next year. He's extension eligible after this season. Tyler's probably gone. Tyler's going to the Pistons, if you ask me. I don't know what for, but I just don't see Tyler on the roster. Andrew Wiggins could be another guy that gets flipped too. I got to upgrade on my phone, but that is still about the CJ shit, so that does not matter. Jesus, who? Honestly, even if they don't trade for Giannis, I think Ware's probably gone too. I think the Heat are tired of the potential for Hero. Well, listen, I think Tyler Hero's good. I think he was very injured this entire season, which did not help him. I still think he can hit big shots. I just feel like if he's your number one perimeter creator, that's not good. I think if he's in the backcourt with like another guy who's better at it, he looks better. I like the movement shooting. I like the rebounding. I think Tyler can be a good piece on a good team. I do believe that. It's just, it has to be like a much better defensive option. And I think that's exactly what the Pistons are. So that's why I like him going there, you know? All right, what's good, Abe Doctrine? He said, do you think the Warriors would take Cam Johnson for pick 11? Cam Johnson? Who? Hang on. Cam Johnson. I don't know. 2026 NBA draft. Is that like a newer Cam Johnson? Yeah, Cam Johnson's on the Nuggets, big bro. Unless he's like another Cam Johnson. Oh, I'm dumb. Sorry about that. You're asking me if they would trade their pick for Cam Johnson. No, I don't think Cam Johnson's that good. I don't think so at all. I think if they move the pick, it would have to be for a player that fixes their lineup issues. No way in would they do that. Yeah, no. I just don't see why. I don't think Cam is that good. Like, yes, he can hit shots. I don't think he's like changing the system for the Warriors. No, I think they need more size at the 3, the 5, the 4, whatever it is, and ideally they need better shooting. Cam Johnson isn't worth that pick because he's not like some crazy volume shooter, and like he's kind of mid on defense as well. So yeah, MPJ, I think they would move it for, but I think Brooklyn might want to keep him. So I don't know how that goes either. Because like Steph and I would say MPJ from a volume perspective as your number 2 shooters is very, very good. Even though I have problems with the way MPJ can play basketball. Defensively, it's kind of bad, but like he can rebound the ball, so that's cool. And he's a very skilled offensive player, which like I'm at the point right now with Golden State where I'm convinced our defense can be all right. Our offense sucks. So I am all in on like offensive specialist players joining this team. Cam Johnson is not offensively, no, like he's cool. He's cool. I need like a dead eye guy who's like can really put ball in basket. He is like I'll throw ball at times at rim and sometimes it will go in basket. Like I'm good on that, me personally. I don't know. But yeah, also he's 29. Like trading your 11 pick for someone who's 29 when like you could in theory get a 24-year-old who plays better defense and can also score. Like I think I just like that better. I don't know. In chat, Zach said I've been saying that the Nuggets lost that MPJ for Cam trade. Yeah, they did. Yeah. They now have more picks that are common. I think the Nets won that trade, ironically, which is hilarious because at the time it was not really. I think, like, okay, I think the context is like MPJ was hurt and wasn't playing well in the playoffs and was kind of making like really dumb decisions on the floor. So at the time, it felt like that was the best move for Denver. And then he played so much better on the Nets. But it's like, I mean, to be fair, you're not playing on like a team that's winning. So maybe that is expected. But he was like deadly efficient on the Nets. And like he also passed the ball the most he ever has in his whole career there too. So it's a very interesting spot, you know? I guess for me, what I would also be looking at is like I need to know what the Jazz are doing. I think the Jazz are like top 5 just in terms of like teams I'm most intrigued in because I genuinely think Walker Kessler impacts a lot of shit. I generally think where AJ goes matters, where Darren Peterson matters. Also, I read a report that the Jazz are thinking about drafting Cam Boozer and having him play with JJJ, and they think that's a perfect fit. And I'm like, so are we putting JJJ as the full-time 5? Because I think that's stupid. I also wouldn't want to put Cam Boozer at the 5 either. The only other way it would somewhat make sense is if you're putting JJJ at the 3 and putting Cam at the 4. I just think JJJ is more thin frame, so he could actually slide his feet better at the 3 than Cam. I think if I'm drafting Cam, I want him at the 4 because that's probably his best spot and he can shoot. But I'm not having him at the 5. That's just dumb to me. I don't know. The Jazz are going to stick with the core of Laurie, George, JDJ, and Ace. They will likely bring. Well, I don't know about bringing Kessler back if Kessler wants $30 million. But I just don't know. And honestly, if Ace Bailey's a part of the core, then you draft Darren Peterson in. He said, like the Wizards in the East, the Jazz are the Jazz are a sleeper team in the West. My problem is like, how good are they really? Like, if I go right now here and we pull up the current NBA standings here, like, okay, what's the full 10? Because I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the Jazz get in here somewhere. I think the Jazz probably take the Clippers spot. Portland actually might stay here next year, if I'm being real with you. I think the Clippers probably fall off a little bit, especially if they trade Kawhi Leonard. I don't know. I don't like how all of Darren Peterson's shots are off pin downs and PNR. Yeah, I've heard he's not like that great of a decision maker as a playmaker. I think he's a really good scorer, but it's more like a go-to play finisher type than a like go initiate the action and consistently go get a bucket. But I mean, that's not a bad thing, you know? I also think growth, like, I don't think you draft a player based on solely what they did in college. It's about how it translates to the pros and is there growth in their game. And it could be growth. I don't know. But like I've been hearing a lot of different overall comparisons for Darren Peterson. So we'll see, you know. In chat, Zach said the Clippers are out of there, especially at a trade Kawhi. I can see that. That's the funny part. I don't know if the Suns fall off because the Suns had pretty good role players and they went through injury. Like, I'm pretty sure if Brooks doesn't get hurt, they probably win more games in the regular season too. So I don't know. In chat, Money Connoisseur said, you just got to run so much stuff in order for him to be effective. Yeah, I could buy that. I will refrain on hardcore agreeing because I just haven't really watched him that much. I'm going to do some more due diligence in the offseason because that is what this time is for, because I don't have time to watch full college and full NBA and work full time. Like I wear many hats, you know what I'm saying? But we'll be tapping in for sure. I'm gonna be live. So here's the deal, and please, if you're in here, like the stream. Here is what we are doing content wise this week. So it's currently Sunday. I don't think I'm gonna stream tomorrow. There will be 2 streams on Tuesday, which means we're going live with Real Talk, Low, and Mars. And hopefully John D as well. That way, the full Hoop Talks podcast will be in the building, and we're gonna basically be doing like a full recap on the entire 2026 season and our picks for like all of the choices and whatnot. We'll probably do another one with them closer to like the beginning of the regular season, but after that, we'll be having a separate stream for the NBA draft. So that's right. I'll be having 2 streams. That stream will end. It will redirect you to the NBA draft stream, which I'm also going to make the Discord open. So if you want to tap in as I stream it, you can tap into Discord. It'll be available. Zach says, so you're calling the Justice League nice. I mean, I do feel like that's what it kind of is. So yeah, we're doing that. Yeah. Yeah. But listen, I've been live since 11. It is 1:30. I have to go cook and clean. I have some adult responsibilities I got to go take care of. But overall, this has been the state of the NBA. This is a active series I plan to engage with more. Check the playlist for the other episodes. Also, I'm going to have a stream this week where we attempt to go 82-0 on this game. I'll show it to y'all real quick. I don't think I've ever done this on live consistently, but we're gonna play this, and the stream's not gonna end until we go 82-0 at some point this week. So definitely tap in. In chat, Too Clutch said the post you put up of Giannis had me dying, bro. Ain't no way he said that shit. Yeah, I don't know. Jumuk said play 6 rings as well. What is that? Let me see. Hang on. 6 rings, 82-0. How that shit work? Is it here? I don't know what. Oh, here? Nope, wrong place. 5 blind single season picks, draft the best lineup. Oh, okay, word. Okay, so you can draft like this. Let me see. I guess we'll just quickly do this here before we get out. I'm gonna just randomly choose players. What the fuck? This is weird. I'm gonna just randomly choose people. So like, if I choose Colin Sexton, what will it say? Okay, Kings. Give me Chris Webber. Okay, they have Michael Jordan on here too. I don't know how this works, but okay. Hey yo, what's good, Breeze? Welcome to the stream. We are at the end. I got introduced to a new game, so we're just trying shit. I'm curious about what it says when I get done with this. We'll go with Scotty Barnes and like. I built a 0 rings team. Wow, so it actually matters. Wow. It said ninth. Wait, so are they saying this team is ass? I think so. It's in the 9th percentile, a plus 21.6. He said how to play top right. Okay. Let me see. Is it here? How to play start blind. Every mode begins with hidden player impact. Read the team, season position, in your own memory before you commit. Pick 5 seasons. Okay. Okay. Check Discord Hoops channel to see a 6 rings team. Okay, bet it up. Let me pull up my Discord real quick then. Oh, chat. By the way, sidebar. I will be active a lot more on Discord as well. We're currently doing our due diligence in the off season for movies. We will be watching the Bourne trilogy next week in Discord, so tap in. Let me pull this up here. All right, so this is a example Junebug posted. Let me flip cord here. Okay, I built a 6 ring. Yo, Lorenz was good. You missed it. We talked in depth about your team, bro. I built a 6 ring team. So you had 08 Chris Paul, 21 Butler, 12 LeBron, 26 OG, and 96 David Robinson. Yeah, I can't lie. This that nerd shit. We'll definitely be playing this. But before we do this though, I do want to have a standalone stream for when we play this, and I'm not gonna end the stream until we go at least 80-0. Of course, I'm gonna lie. So I'm gonna say stream doesn't end until we go 82-0, and I'll try that. But like, I'm not gonna be here for like, you know what I'm saying, 8 hours. No, like, I will be here for a specific amount of time. Yeah, now, we talked about, so in the stream, I talked about what I learned overall from the NBA Finals. I talked about my problem with Giannis and the trade bullshit. I talked about where he's going. I talked about the Knicks. I talked about the Spurs. I talked about De'Aaron Fox, Harper. I talked about a lot of NBA shit. So if you care about it, tap in. I'll have some timestamps for this shit as well. Hoops IQ mode, because you a ball knower. Unfortunately, this game is not about ball knowledge. This game is definitely about PRA. It's all it's about. So I don't care about that. I will be playing the classic mode, and we will be trying to go 82-0 just to say we did it. You know what I'm saying? But chat, I will be live again today. I'll be on Twitch, but it will not be anything pertaining to basketball. We are going to be catching up on some anime shit, and I'll also probably be on, I think, 007 tonight as well, so stay tuned for that. Check my Twitter if you want, I think, constant, how do I say this, updates on shit. Also, be tuned in to the YouTube. Again, hit that like button. I have scheduled posts on content pertaining to the channel and more. We'll be having content calendars come out every Monday, starting tomorrow, moving forward. So tap in with me. But I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. It's going to be a great week for the NBA. I'm going to make the broadcast with Mars Low and Real Talk today. And I'll also be making the NBA draft broadcast as well. So stay tuned. But I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all have a great rest of your Sunday. Happy Father's Day, people. Peace.